Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul Channel. I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expression of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. And some people I think have inspired me. I hope they can inspire you as well. And I will have links below this video to their sites. They are Rabbi Shalom Arish, Rabbi Laser Brody, Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, Rabbi Eli Mansour, Relon Anava, Rabbi Yuval Ovadia, Rav Daniel Asore, Nisan Baruch Black, David Sachs, Rabbi Michael Skobach, Jews for Judaism, Rabbi David Asher, and Rabbi Ron Ruvain, and also Rabbi Yosef Chesney. That's a new one I'm adding. And also, if you've never checked out this channel before, I will have a link below this video to my first video, which explains what M.L.M for the soul means, what it stands for, what I'm doing. So this is related to the upcoming parasha. This is again the weekly insights from Rabbi Eli Mansour, and I call this one thing leads to the next. And this is related to Parashat Shlach. So Rashi, commenting to the beginning of the Parashat Shlach, draws a connection between the story of the spies, which is told in this parasha, and the story of Miriam's tzara'at, which is leprosy, which is told in the final verses of the previous parasha. Miriam was punished for speaking negatively about her brother Moshe, and the spies could have learned from her punishment the gravity of lashon hara, which is negative speech. Tragically, however, they did not learn this lesson, and they spoke lashon hara about the land of Israel. This, Rashi explains, is the reason why these two stories are juxtaposed to one another in the Torah. How are we to understand this connection? Miriam was punished for speaking critically of Moshe Rabbeinu, the greatest prophet who ever lived. How were the spies supposed to learn from her punishment that they should not speak negatively about a land? The Ben Ish Chai, Rav Yosef Chaim of Baghdad, explained by analyzing the essential nature of the sin of the spies. When the spies returned from their excursion, they described the large size and great strength of the inhabitants of Eretz Yisrael, and how small they, the spies, felt in comparison. In this context, they said they feel like Haga Abim, which are grasshoppers or locusts. The significance of this comparison, the Ben Ish Chai explained, can be found in the verse in the book of Mishlei, where Shlomo HaMelech teaches, Melech ein la'arbeh, the locust has no king. Locusts have no authority figure. They swarm and consume without any restraints or semblance of order. They are not under anyone's control or authority. This, the Ben Ish Chai writes, is the meaning of the spies' comment. They felt they had no competent leader. As they stood in fear observing the powerful Canaanites, or Canaanim in Hebrew, they started asking themselves, what kind of leader sends his people to such a dangerous place? They thus concluded that they had no leadership. Moshe was not responsible, they believed, and could not be trusted. This was the crux of the sin of the spies. They distrusted Moshe Rabbeinu, He received an explicit prophecy from Hashem that he would lead them to a good land and would grant them victory over the people of Canaan. The spies did not accept his prophecy and did not trust him. This is why their sin was so severe. Once the people mistrusted Moshe regarding Eretz Yisrael, they would mistrust him regarding everything else as well, and they would then reject the entire Torah. I say chas v'shalom, because that's where that's why I say one thing leads to the next, it kind of snowballs. So this explains the connection between the story of the spies and the story of Miriam. When Miriam spoke about Moshe Rabbeinu, she did not intend to undermine his authority or to denigrate him in any way. However, her negative comments led to the next stage, when the spies questioned Moshe's credentials as leader and prophet. The final step was Miriam's mild criticism, and the next step was the spies' general mistrust of Moshe. And unfortunately, the process did not stop there. The next parasha, Parashat Korach, tells how this process unfolded one step further, with Korach leading a frontal all-out assault on Moshe's authority. The spies had stopped short of openly opposing Moshe's leadership, and dismissed only his prophecy regarding the land of Israel. But this led to the next step, which was Korach's all-out revolt against Moshe. What begun as an unintentional slight to Moshe's honor by Miriam evolved into a full-blown rebellion against Moshe's authority. Although she did not intend any harm and did not seek to challenge Moshe's authority in any way, it triggered a process of gradual decline in the people's esteem for Moshe Rabbeinu, a process that culminated in an all-out rebellion. So you see what happens when you start, like I say, that's why I say one thing leads to the next, you have to be really careful. That's why lashon hara is such it's like worst thing, one of the worst things you could do. It's not the worst, of course, in the Torah, but boy, it just leads and keeps going, and you don't know where it's going to end. So the best thing to do is to not. And I say it's better not to talk, but what is it? There's different levels, and I forget someone wrote this, but like, better not to talk about people or about things. Talk about the Torah. That's it. Just talk Torah. That's the best thing. I mean, of course, if you want to talk about your family, but you got to be careful because one thing can lead to the next, and it'll go in the wrong direction. So hopefully I pray that we can all go in the right direction, and we will all merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days and rebuilding of our final and everlasting Beit HaMikdash. Amen, and thanks for watching.